everybody. This is JJ Outlaw, better known as the Gourmet Goober. You can catch me on social media. I'm at Twitter at JJ Outlaw, and you can catch me on the Instagrams at Gourmet Goober. And it's always this week. I'm happy to be back with my BFF / hubby / all around that dude, Big Daddy, aka T Outlaw. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I am once again T Outlaw. You can find me on Twitter at T Outlaw. That's TOUTLAW. And on Instagram at, once again, T Outlaw, Josie Wells. Like the movie, The Outlaw, Josie Wells.
Yes. And we are happy to be back. I know that we took a little bit of a break. And for those of you who heard our last episode, thank you for reaching out. It was a shorter episode that time because we wanted to give ourselves a little chance to do some self-care. That said, we're excited because starting with this podcast, we're going to be going bi-weekly. So every 2 weeks, you can count on a new episode of the Gourmet Goober dropping on Monday. So we're really super excited about it. Also, really great news as well is that we are a part of a new thing recently that's called the Cross Pods. It's a network of podcasters who support each other and certainly for promotion and other really cool stuff. So if you're interested in advertising on the Gourmet Goober, you can go to thecrosspods.com and you can find how you can sponsor us and be a part of Gooberland, as we lovingly call it. So as we start every podcast, we always like to talk about how our week went. And so, Big Daddy, I can honestly say that it's been kind of a crazy week, but how was your week so far?
My week was, for the most part, fairly informational, I would say. I did a lot of training, also at work, and also just in general, I've been doing study on a lot of different subjects, also trying to read more because it's the beginning of summer. But also, for the most part, I've been catching up on a lot of different TV shows, and also catching up on just random politics, but we're not going to talk about that. But yeah, I think I had a pretty decent week. Just took time to try to reinvest in myself, but I feel good. What about you?
Well, I've had a really crazy couple weeks, but my week has been going really well. Just making adjustments because, as I mentioned in the last episode, our lives are definitely a little different after the change in our family unit, with the loss of our little one. That said, this week, I'm really excited because at work, I'm working on this new project. The organization I'm working with, they're launching a new website. So I got trained on that. So I'm really excited to have those new responsibilities. Outside of that, I've been focusing more on taking time to do some self-care. Like you, I wanted to reinvest in myself. As you know, it's really important to do, I think, after, you go through a loss in your family or just in general, just kind of giving yourself, I always like to call it that space and grace to kind of take care of yourself. So this week I've been focusing on really, just kind of reconnecting with things that give me joy. One of the things, and I know you and I had talked about it, and I know it's kind of bizarre, so maybe this is like a confession for those who don't know me and listening to the podcast. But
These are my confessions.
Exactly. But one of the weird things about me, and I know a lot of people may find it strange, but I really love grocery shopping.
You really, let's take this and unpack it for a second. Jennifer in grocery shopping. Walking behind Jennifer in a grocery store is like watching her go through Oprah's aha moment 237 times. She discovers things and has reactions that you would think that she is basically finding little Christmas presents in every shopping trip. She's really invested in like stores that have great produce, great delis. If you have a butcher, you're basically top dog. And hell, if you have a bakery, you won the lotto. So
You know what? I was thinking about this the other day because what happened was we decided to go to a little place in Northwest Indiana and Munster, and we were going to go for a particular restaurant. Unfortunately, the restaurant had closed, which was sort of a bummer. But as we were there, and we're just like, oh, there's a really great grocery store in the area that I don't usually make my way out to Munster because it's a little bit of a haul for me. But that said, they have a really great Jewel Osco that's, really well stocked, and they have a lot of great produce. And so I'm like, let's go.
and it's full of old folks.
So we go in here, and they've freshened up the place since I've been there last. And so I was just like in heaven. I was like, oh my God, they have broccoli. And at one point, I don't know why, I got like really excited, and they had some Lavazza coffee, which is kind of hard to get where I am. And so I literally grabbed it and I looked at Big Daddy and I was like, I'm taking the Lavazza coffee on sale. And then I realized, oh, that wasn't my inside box. I said that outside.
Yeah, this is the woman
I sung it in the grocery store.
she's all excited up in the grocery store, like, singing like Lionel Richie in the middle of aisles. I'm sitting here thinking, what just happened? Was there like special things in this coffee?
He was looking at me like, okay, other people can see you. Or like in the produce section, they had the most gorgeous crowns of broccoli. And I was like, ooh, 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 broccoli.
You cabbage patched in the produce section.
Okay, Cabbage Patch was maybe a little bit of an overdoing it. But yes, I was rather joyful because they had really great broccoli. It wasn't like, you know how sometimes you go to a produce section and they have like really cruddy produce, and it's not as firm as it should be, and it doesn't have that great green color. And I was like, yes, it looks like it's just picked out of the farmer, the farm, and they brought it over here, and I can have broccoli sauteed with garlic. And Big Daddy was just like, no one should be this excited over any vegetable.
Very much so.
No one should ever be this excited over veggies, period.
No, I agree. You went way above and beyond the call of what the hell.
And then, for some reason, in different aisles, I would turn to Big Daddy and I'd go, you know what's in a cart? And he would be like, what? Broccoli!
And I'm thinking, how fast can I find the exits? I'm looking for the cashiers to get her out. But yeah, she definitely likes going in different supermarkets of quality and discovering.
You know what it is, though? Because I was wondering about that. Because I was just thinking, that is a very odd thing about me. And I have always looked forward to it. I mean, I just find the whole process of grocery shopping and comparing and figuring out what I'm making. I guess that's why I love cooking so much, is because I just find it relaxing to the point where I actually, before my current day job, at my last day job, I worked at a social justice retreat center in Chicago. And part of my job was to go grocery shopping for the people who stayed there. And everyone else, and we rotated this responsibility out. So it was myself and other directors who worked there, and they would be like, oh my gosh, I have to go grocery shopping. And me, in the back of my head, I was like, I can't believe I get paid to do this.
She's literally smiling right now while saying that.
I would text Big Daddy like, I'm in Costco and they have lobster. Would you like lobster? And you'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Where are we getting this lobster money first? But too, yeah, she would get excited at Costco. She would get excited in Walmart, maybe. She would get excited in, the regular produce market. She would get excited in
a connoisseuria.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Basically, this one right here, she likes green eggs and ham. Yes, she is. Also, I like to discover that I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to mark you as the Captain Kirk of supermarkets. You are the Voyager, the Enterprise, the Deep Space Nine. You basically are the discoverer of supermarkets and shit within supermarkets.
And I get so excited about it.
Yes.
I really do. But I figured out, actually, this week, I figured out why I'm that way. Because when I was a kid, I used to go grocery shopping with my dad all the time. And my father is quite the character if you guys ever have a chance to meet him. So we would go to the grocery store, and it was never like a trip to the grocery store. Like, we would pass like the seafood section, and if they had like a display with a live lobster, my dad would pretend like the lobster would talk. The lobster always, no matter where we were, the lobster always was named Mr. Claw. And we would go into like the, peanut butter section, and he would like sing this like song he made up about peanut butter. So I think in my mind, I still have that sense of, ooh, we're going to the grocery store. And I know that going back to the whole subject of self-care, I always found that to be an odd thing about myself. Like, I didn't realize until I was much older and living on my own that not everyone saw grocery shopping the same way I did. Most people see it's like a chore, like you have to do it. And me like, ooh, there's a new grocery store and I can check it out. But I realized that this past couple weeks that I need to embrace that weird part of myself, because it is something that, well, one, everyone needs to grocery shop. I mean, unless you like live on a farm or out in the boonies where you just hunt and gather your stuff. For the most part, most people have to do this as a chore. And if it's something that gives you joy, it's okay to give yourself permission and just have fun with it. Now, should you be singing the word broccoli to your spouse as a way to like show your excitement? Probably not. But then again, I've always embraced the fact that I'm just a quirky, weird person. But outside of that,
just go ahead and say it's weird, dude. You pretty much, you pretty much get weird in supermarkets. She literally loses her mind in Whole Foods.
Yeah.
She will go like nuts in Trader Joe's. Now, granted, cookie butter I'm down with. At the same time, everything past that is just, it's a party for her. To me, I think my get over is like, if I can introduce her to these places and then try to, keep her from like losing her ever loving mind in there, I feel I've done my job as a husband and friend.
Well, look at it this way. At least that's the one thing that you don't have to do chore-wise, because I'm very territorial about me grocery shopping. Although, to be fair...
you never send me to the grocery store because I'm like, I will never find it. Yeah, I will never find anything.
Okay, all right. Story time, okay?
Story time.
So when we were first married and we lived in a suburb of Chicago, the reason why I don't send you to the grocery store is one day I wasn't feeling well and I was home from work sick, and I was going to go online and buy groceries, I think, from like Peapod or some, shop from home grocery thing where you shop and they bring you your food. And my hubby, Big Daddy, he was just like, oh, don't worry, I can do it. All right, fine. Are you sure? Yeah, I got this covered. You just get to nuts. Give me a list. So I gave him a list, okay? The lists were 4 pages long. Okay, 4-page list. Big Daddy comes back with 4 bags. And I was like, where are all the groceries? Oh, I got them. You got 4 pages worth of stuff in 4 bags? Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So then I would look at the bag, and there'd be like stuff in it that I never even asked for. And at one point, I sent him to this particular grocery store because we both love lamb chops, right? And they had lamb chops on sale. But you weren't even looking for lamb. You were looking for veal. Veal wasn't even on the list. And you're just like, yeah, and I couldn't find where the veal was. And I'm like,
I couldn't find the lamb, so I just substituted veal in my head.
Right, and I was just like, well, first of all, never asked you for veal. And how did this stuff get on the list? Now, to be fair, you actually went to a store, because where we lived, there was a store that was a really great grocery store. They had beautiful produce and really inexpensive, meat. And they had this expanded international food section because I always love that because you never know. You'll always find really cool things that you've never knew before in an international food section.
Only you.
Oh, come on, you get excited about it, but you felt intimidated because the grocery store I sent you to, not everyone spoke English, and you felt a little uncomfortable asking where things were.
Yeah, I'm an Americanized guy. Like I'm not asking for directions or where shit is. I'm like, well,
And that's true. You wouldn't have asked that no matter
nope.
what grocery store I sent you.
Gotcha.
You probably wouldn't have asked for that. But I was just like, I don't. After that, and it was really early in our marriage, I was just thinking, I will never send you to the grocery store again.
And I won.
So what? Did you do that because you didn't want to go? Because you offered to go. That was your thing.
Yes, it
Because you were
is.
just like, oh, we don't want to pay for the delivery. I can go.
Yeah, I did. Hey, I did it my way. I got my chips and my veal, and no one was the wiser.
Yes. So
Uh-huh.
now I do all the grocery shopping, which makes me happy. And
I sit in the cut.
it's kind of sad because seriously, if I get out of a grocery store, and if I manage to get out of a grocery store, like a really nice one, in less than an hour, then that's kind of a miracle. Because for me, I'm like poking into new stuff, and like I said, like for example, this international, or this jewel optical we went to in Munster, they had this really great international section, so I was able to get some pho.
Bo?
Pho.
Bo?
The Vietnamese noodle soup. And I got, and it was delicious, by the way, let me just say. And
Ooh.
they had like a lot of like coffees and things, like they had beignet mix and stuff from the Café du Monde that's hard to find. And so, yeah, I can just lose myself in a grocery store. It's kind of sad, but
She hits grocery stores like she hits IKEAs.
hey, you're the king of IKEAs.
I'm the king of going in and buying useless stuff.
No, don't say that. Because remember when I used to go on business trips and I would come back and there would be like new stuff in our apartment all the time from IKEA.
Let me tell you about my concept in IKEA. It was basically about concepts of things I can put in the house that can like save space. And the concept in IKEA was great. By the time I had to put it together, that concept went straight to pot. It was like, why the hell did I buy this?
And it would be so endearing because I would come back and I would be like, what is this? No. I can put together this wine bottle display holder. You'll be fine. We'll be able to have that. Well, we don't actually drink wine. No, but we can use it for soda.
Yes. Yes, we can. And then I figured out that it doesn't hold 2 liters. I guess
No,
I should
it
have
does
propped
not.
it. But it held wine bottles. Well, I guess I just gotta put my soda in wine bottles in. Okay. Hack. There we go.
But you know what? I would never judge you because just like the grocery store gave me joy, your trips to IKEA, even though you would never admit it, gives you joy. And so that's what self-care is about. Even if you go walking or you join a club or, you pick up and start reading again or go on grocery shopping at a new grocery store, whatever your happy point is, finding your happy point is so very key. Which, speaking of happy point, can we share the thing that I showed you that made you instantly happy? And that is like your new thing about corn dogs.
Corn dogs.
Corn dogs of all things.
And what might that be?
No, it was that meme about corn dogs.
And what did the meme say?
About calling corn dogs meat Twinkies.
Ah, yes. Meat Twinkies.
Oh my gosh, you would think
Hercules. I heard about meat Twinkies. That is the greatest name for corn dogs ever. I think I should call Stephen A. Smith. We're going to refer to corn dogs from now on as meat Twinkies. Because that's what I think they are now. They have changed names. They are now Meat Twinkies. I am good.
First of all, my husband has an obsession with corn dogs. He loves corn dogs.
Okay.
Like,
Can I say where I got the corn dog thing from?
sure, I'd love to hear
Okay,
that.
I was late to the party with this, but this is actually funny. And I like to give credit to, of all people, Jay Leno. I
Jay
know
Leno?
some Jay Leno. Okay, I knew I was kind of late to the party. Like as a kid, I grew up and I ate, hot dogs, burgers, stuff like that. And I was never really into, hot dogs on a stick. I was just I'm used to like hot dogs and bun and everything. But I'm watching a Tonight Show episode, and there was this running gag. Apparently, I believe it was in 2001. This is how late I came to this party. When he and his bandmate, or I'm sorry, his band leader, Kevin, had this thing going where Kevin, who was from Philly, was a big 76ers fan, and Jay, who taped in LA, was big with the Lakers. So apparently that year they played the Lakers and 76ers played in the finals. So they made a bet, and Leno said to Kevin that if the Sixers won, I think they would have some kind of vegan or something, cheesesteak or something, or some kind of vegan meal. Whereas if the Lakers won, this is Jay's bet, that he had to on stage partake of an American corn dog, which I don't think Kevin was down for. So, but he agreed to the bet. Now, granted, what hype this deal was, of course, the Lakers did begin their three-peat or something by winning and overtaking Allen Iverson and the 76ers. And who delivers the corn dogs? Lakers forward Rick Fox. That's right. Holla at your boy, Ricky Fox. So Kevin, on camera had to partake of or take a bite out of a corn dog, and thus began my fascination right then and there with corn dogs.
So wait a minute.
Meat Twinkies.
When I met you way before that time, shall we say,
mm-hmm.
At that point in your life, you had never had a corn dog?
Yes, one of the things you're going to hear. One of the things you're going to come across recurring in this, a recurring theme, as you would say, within this podcast, from way back when on forward, is the fact that I came across certain things pretty early in life, but a lot of things that maybe a lot of people have partaken of when they were younger, I just never got into, or I never ate.
Yeah, like the time that I realized, what was it, 4 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Or 4 or 5 years ago. Up to that point, you had never tried a Pop-Tart. And I was like, how did you grow up in the 80s and never have a damn Pop-Tart? Pop-Tarts were everywhere.
Yeah, my sister ate Pop-Tarts when she was younger. I just never did. No, there were a whole lot of things. Like, remember the Fluffernutter?
Yes.
Yeah, never had a Fluffernutter sandwich or whatever, anything like that. Yeah, never had one of those.
Well, to be fair, Fluffernutter is kind of a regional thing.
Probably, yeah.
I know a lot of people who've never had a Fluffernutter, but a Pop-Tart, that's like saying you've never had Tang. That's just kind of like, if you grew up back then, like literally Pop-Tarts and Tang were everywhere. At least it was when I was growing up. I mean, they had them in school. I was shocked because we went to the same college, and I know they have Pop-Tarts there in the lunchroom because, in the cafeteria because we ate there together. You've watched me eat Pop-Tarts in college.
It doesn't mean I've never seen one. I just never ate it.
So, of course, when he told me that, I was like, okay, we're dropping everything. We're going to have you try a Pop-Tart.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to the store, and I got, like, my favorite Pop-Tart, which is the plain strawberry one. The one that doesn't have, like, the frosting on it. So it's the unfrosted strawberry one.
Yes.
And you were not a fan.
No.
I think that's the last time you had a Pop-Tart, honestly.
No, I think you did get me I think it was like a chocolate-ish Pop-Tart
Yes.
I think, yeah, that pretty much brought my count in life to 2.
But I never knew that you never had a corn dog until 2000.
No, I shouldn't say that. No, I
Oh,
won't.
excuse me.
I know my memory is only so big, but I think before that point, I may have eaten a corn dog, but it wasn't a thing for me. Maybe at that point, maybe I've had maybe 2, 3 corn dogs in life. Just, by going to a county fair of some kind. But no, never was into corn dogs until after, that point in 2001. And then now with meat Twinkies. Oh, yeah, brother. Oh, yeah, we're going to bring these meat Twinkies to the forefront. I'm taking that to the party. Yeah. Every time you see me, you're going to see me with a meat Twinkie. Because meat Twinkies, we in now.
The funny thing about you not eating a corn dog before then is twofold. One, when I was a child, because I'm the oldest of 4, and my parents, they both were extraordinarily busy. My mother was a nurse. My dad worked in construction, so they have crazy hours. He was a cement mason. So we always had corn dogs in the house because it was something easy that we could make and you could put in the oven and not burn down the house. And so I ate so many corn dogs that for years after I moved out, when I got grown, I didn't touch one. So the idea of someone never having a corn dog, it's like foreign to me as a child, a way I grew up. But then 2, when I say that my husband loves corn dogs, I'm not even kidding. Like when we go to the grocery store, like you have your own kind that you want. You really, to make you happy, you love the mini corn dogs, which is hard to find.
Yes.
And the whole idea was just like, wow, to have that in place and to never try one until 2001, that's crazy.
Yes, that is true. Shout out to State Farm. I'm sorry, State Fair, not State Farm. For your brand of corn dogs. Well, Matt, you want to like make the mini corn dog boxes more available to a brother because I gotta stock up. You never know when winter is coming. But yeah, I like mini corn dogs. But in absentia, definitely a hot dog on a stick, thus a corn dog, thus meat Twinkies is my jam. Ta-da!
So, ladies and gentlemen, everyone listening to the podcast, henceforth in Gooberland, the little nickname we give our podcast and to everyone who listens to it. Henceforth, if you hear us refer to the word meat Twinkies, we're really talking about corn dogs.
Or if you're thinking about calling me up, texting me, tweeting me about corn dogs, you shall now have them only referred to as meat Twinkies.
So yes. So that was our week. The craziness of me reconnecting with a grocery store that gave me joy and had me singing about broccoli, and my husband discovering the word meat Twinkies and deciding that it's the greatest, most incredible thing he has ever heard.
I heard her jam was, this healthy thing of broccoli.
And the coffee. I got really excited over the box of coffee.
She was doing the coffee to keep us alive. Or keep us alive because if she goes without coffee, there will be issues. But for me, my decadence was not the healthy one. It's the corn dog. AKA meat Twinkies. Ta-da.
You eat so much meat Twinkies. Oh my God, you have me saying it now. You eat so many meat Twinkies. Seriously, State Fair, if you're listening, I'm never one to solicit a sponsor, but seriously, on the real, you should produce like a brand of, I don't know if you can do it because of licensing issues with the hostess company, but if you could produce a box that says meat Twinkies, my husband will be the perfect spokesperson.
I will stand there with a smile on my face. Now in the new bowl, meat Twinkies. I am holding and waving out my hand. I will be your Miss America meat Twinkies. I am your Vanna White of meat Twinkies. I will make a deal with your meat Twinkies. Let me be your meat Twinkie man. I will do your commercials. I will be the Tidy Bowl meat Twinkie man.
Okay.
I am your get down Twinkie, meat Twinkie connoisseur. I will partake. I will sit in a cafe with one little pinky finger up in the air, demonstrating my love for meat Twinkies. I am the meat Twinkie dude. That dude, meat Twinkie dude. That's me. I'm your guy.
So on that note, as you can tell, we are back to our normal selves. So apparently,
yeah, we're lit.
A couple weeks of self-care is done. Is good. So we're going to take a break, not to partake of meat Twinkies, but just to take a break. And when we return, we'll talk about some of the pop culture things that we noticed from the week. Hey everybody, this is JJ Outlaw, better known as the Gourmet Goober. And have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions, like how do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all those apps that people like to listen to? Hey, how do I even make money from my podcast? Well, the answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise in your podcast. This means that you get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's kind of what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. I love Anchor. It makes it super easy from start to finish. The whole process can be done from the app, from recording to distribution. I just adore it. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast and while making money doing so, just go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. Hey guys, we are back. Welcome back to the Gourmet Goober.
Back on the goob.
And before we get started, just as a reminder, if there's anything you heard on the Goob and you wanted to follow up with us, you can tweet me at JJ Outlaw. You can tweet Big Daddy at T Outlaw. And you can, if you could use hashtag the Goob, THAGOOB, that'll give us a chance to find your comment. We maybe read it on the show.
She's really special about that, eh?
So we are actually recording, as I stated before, we are moving to bi-weekly. And one of the things that we're committing to is you'll have a new episode of the Gourmet Goober every 2 weeks on a Monday. That's when we chose to drop the new podcast episodes. And so by the time you heard this, we will officially be in summer. I'm so excited. It's the first day of summer.
First days of summer. I'm a big fan of summer. You know, I was born in winter.
Although, I gotta be honest, we live in Chicagoland, and it has not felt like summer in days. Like, it's been in the 50s and 60s. I wore, like, sweater and a jacket. Now, there are people doing a little bit of overkill, wearing, like, a scarf and, like, a coat. I saw on my commute to work.
That was me.
That maybe was a bit much, only because we live in Chicagoland, so we
Layer
know
up.
what cold is.
Yes.
That said, even though it doesn't feel like summer, there have been some signs that summer has returned, so we're really super excited about that. So, for example, if you live where we live, one of the surefire ways to know it's summertime is that the Dairy Queens are open back up. And for those of you who are maybe listening in different parts of the country, of course, we know there are Dairy Queens that are open year-round.
Brazers.
We lovingly call them Brazers. I don't know if they call them that anymore, but back in the day, if you got a Dairy Queen that served more than just like the soft serve and the other frozen goodies, if they served food, those were called Brazers. And Brazers are open all year round. And by food, I define it as more than just like hot dogs, right? I mean, you usually get like burgers and fries and all that good stuff at the Dairy Queen Brazier joints. But where we live, in the Chicagoland area that we live in, the Dairy Queens are only open seasonally. So you know that it's summertime in our area when people hit the Dairy Queen. And so Today we went to Dairy Queen for the first time this season, which was awesome. I got one of my new faves, which is a cherry misty freeze. So it's like a cherry slush with like a vanilla soft serve blended in. It was amazing.
Did you get brain freeze?
No, I did not actually.
Okay.
I paced myself, so I know how to do it just right.
She held back.
I held back. But yeah, it's just a really great time for that. And of course, we live near the beach, so summertime for us also means seeing people roll by Lake Michigan, and it's exciting to see everyone head out that way and have cookouts and listen to some jams. Um, what usually means summer to you? You grew up in this area, right? So you probably know this
Hmm.
better than I do as far as what does it mean when summer returns to like the Chicagoland area and stuff like that.
I mean, growing up around here, for the most part, it's like everywhere else. I mean, yeah, you get time at the beach, because there's a beach around us. Doesn't necessarily mean like me jumping in there going swimming, but for the most part, just being able to like go out to the beach, to be around the area. That means, the kids are out playing. They're prepping themselves, getting armed up with all the massive amounts of fireworks in this area.
Oh yeah. It's so funny because over the border they're not allowed to buy fireworks,
Correct.
but where we live, and let me just say it's kind of weird because where we live is a space that's commonly known as the region.
The
right?
region.
The region.
You have to say it with extra bass in your voice.
The region.
Yes.
So the region is actually a weird space. Does it include Chesterton?
If you wanted to, but it's basically Lake in Porter County, Indiana.
So it's like Lake in Porter County, Indiana. And the best way I can explain it is most everyone knows Indiana for various reasons. But in the region isn't considered part of Indiana, even though technically that is where we are geographically.
I pay Indiana state taxes. You damn well better recognize me.
Oh yeah, come tax time, we're Indiana people. Okay,
Yeah.
there's no denying that. We're Hoosiers. But the weird thing is, from everything that we consume from like local media and our television stations and whatnot, we are considered Chicago. So it's to the point now where I always have to remind myself that I don't live in the city.
Mm-hmm.
So when Chicago just recently got a new mayor, Mary Lord Lightfoot, shout out to her. She made history as the first Black woman and the first openly lesbian woman as well to become mayor of Chicago, which is really exciting to see that change.
Mm-hmm.
But when she got elected, I was like partying like she was my mayor. So my husband's like, you don't live in Chicago, right? You didn't vote for her. That's not any of yours. But I'm just like, oh yeah. And all the time we like read the newspaper, and every so often we'll hear something crazy coming down from the rest of Indy, because the thing about Northwest Indiana, because we align ourselves in Chicago, like the mindset, like we're not as conservative as they are in Indianapolis. Take that as you will. We're not going to get into a political debate, but obviously there's a difference of how people interact with each other here than where I grew up with in Indianapolis for various things. But it's so funny because sometimes I'll just like look at that and like, oh my God, what the hell is going on in Indiana? And then my mom will be like, you live here, fool. That's you too. I was like, oh yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. But for the most part, yeah, summer is just about exploring different places, checking out different parts of the region and outside of, but also
The taste of Chicago's back.
the taste of Chicago in Chicago. But festivals, but also there are a lot of car shows around here, and just general like you'll have a lot of different restaurants that will have patronage by some of the motorcycle, clans and a lot of the old fashioned car enthusiasts. Some of the, they've even had, as I've noticed, like some of the kids have brought their, you know, pumped up bikes and scooters, and they hang out at different restaurants and, they get to entertain us with summer music. But for the
Oh,
most part, summer is just summer.
nice. Hey, speaking of music, because
Hmm.
summer music, oh my God, I was just thinking about that because at once I was kind of toying with the whole idea of maybe we could like play some summer jams to the podcast today, but then I thought, we don't have the whole licensing money thing worked out.
Yeah, like
We
my
need a
checking
few
and my
more.
savings don't quite go together yet on that.
We need a few more sponsors to do that. But in terms of music, like, of course, everyone's seminal summertime beat that it just comes with the whole thing, of course, is DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince Summertime.
Yes.
That is like my penultimate, like, when you hear the summer solstice hitting, you just want to like crank that up and play it no matter where you are because that's like the official start of summer.
Or you could be old like me and listen to, the OJs, like, some breeze make me feel
Oh,
fine.
yeah.
Yeah, see.
That's a good one, too.
Got some Frankie Beverly and Mays, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. You just taking it back old school.
Yeah, I know. Let the old man grumps like let me get my cane out. Yeah, that's me.
Well, the coolest part of summer, I think, of course, being where we are, being near the beach, it is impossible to drive by the beach and the Indiana Dunes and hanging out there without seeing a cookout. And so that's like the very best part, I think, of the summer and just connecting with your friends. We're very lucky to live in a space that our neighbors are just great. And because of where we live, your neighbors have known you forever.
Yeah.
And so, cookouts are a real thing. And of course, all the good stuff that comes with cookouts, the burgers, the ribs, the chicken.
Burgers, the ribs, the chickens, the pork steaks, the sausages, the
The
brats.
brats.
Yeah, gotta bring those. Also, I'm a big fan of smoking, so thus there are other things that get thrown on. Basically, if you think you can smoke it, I'm throwing it on there. Damn it, I'll put a pizza on that bad boy if I think I can get that bread smoked right. Wood oven, deep dish. I handle things. I'll throw some pork chops on there because Big Daddy when he gets on the grill, he gets a little crazy.
One thing that will not be included, apparently, by some people is veggie burgers. And
Veggie burgers. Wait a minute, what?
did you hear this? So there is this pastor that goes by the name of Rick Wiles. And first of all, let me just take a side note because in our pop culture section, of course, we've talked about some of the things that kind of or is eating us this week. That's why we call it What's Eating Us.
Mm-hmm.
So this particular person that I'm about to talk to is a pretty awful person. I just want to say. I mean, I don't say that very often about people, but
What did he do that got you to the point where he's awful?
well, he's gone on the record and said some things that are anti-Semitic. He said things that that is Islamophobic. I mean, he's not a very welcoming person, in my opinion. So even though we're
Okay.
laughing at him, make no mistake, he is not a very nice person. I mean,
Okay.
according to the Defamation League, he's also said some very horrible anti-LGBTQ messaging. I mean, he's not a joyful person, in
So
my
he's an
opinion.
equal opportunity idiot.
Yes, but
Okay.
that said, apparently, if we throw an Impossible Burger in with our other stuff on, when it comes to the cookouts this summer, apparently we are going to hell. And it's kind of terrible.
Okay, now
Which is funny because I know a lot of vegan Christians from the place I used to work at. I don't know if they know they're bringing on the apocalypse. Maybe we should tell them.
yeah, I admit. Okay, I'm a carnivore. I like meat with everything, and I have as of yet my lips have never parsed an Impossible Burger. Yeah, I've partaken of different plant based materials, but no. But I get the point of like being a fan of meat, but not like publicly like denouncing the gestation of the anti-meat. But yeah, what exactly did this guy say or do?
Well, Wiles believes that people will soon not even be given the choice of eating real or meatless food. And he thinks that stuff like Impossible Burgers and Beyond Burgers and Black Bean Burgers, which have existed forever, but he thinks it's actually something that's been created by people who worship Satan and they want to alter DNA. So this is what he said. So he has like this video show or this podcast program. I'm not going to say the name. You can Google it. I'm not going to give that man any extra clicks.
Okay.
Because again, he's not a nice person. But he said, when you go to your favorite fast food restaurant, you're going to be eating a fake burger. You're going to go to the grocery store and buy a pound of fake hamburger or fake steak, and you won't even know it's grown in some big corporation's laboratory. And he said that God is watching these Luciferians destroy the earth, destroy the animal kingdom, destroy the plant kingdom, change people DNA, human DNA, rather. Why? Because if you change DNA, they can't be born again.
Okay.
So, of course, I read this as I strolled out of White Castle because I was craving one of their Impossible Burger sliders, which, by the way, low-key, as a side note, they are hella good. I mean, far be it from me to tell you what to eat, and we tried to institute a meatless Monday, which sometimes didn't fall into Monday, which causes issues, but we're not going to go into that.
Meatless Mondays. We'll talk about that at some point in life.
Look,
but
as long as we eat one meatless meal, because overall, going meatless is a good idea, or at least reducing your meat consumption, because it's better for the environment, because, you know, raising cattle and things like that take an incredible toll on our resources in terms of space and water and all of that good stuff. But yes, we will talk about that for a later time, because Big Daddy's looking at me like, I'm not asking you to like give up meat altogether, because I'm sorry, I love bacon. Bacon is really great.
I'm clutching my pearls right now.
He is holding his chest like I just literally told him that we're never eating meat again. But on the other hand, I mean, it's a responsible thing to do. And honestly, I kind of see it as an extension of my faith in a certain way, because we're supposed to be stewards of the earth. I mean, that's one of the things that, you know, the good book says we're supposed to do. And so having a meatless Monday makes sense. But in his idea, you know, eating anything vegan other than, you know, meat, and you're basically like going to hell. So, of course, I'm like eating this Impossible Burger, or enjoying the Impossible Burger that you hooked me up with from Wahlburgers earlier last week. And I was just thinking, dag, man, I had no idea. I'm like, I just thought I was doing something smart for the environment and skipping meat every once in a while. But apparently we can't be born again, or can't go to heaven if you eat meat. So, or eat, you know, anything other than meat.
Not all hot dogs go to heaven.
I guess not.
No, I guess I'm like, I know your little sermon, this gentleman's sermon was, I see where you were trying to go with it, but you went way, past the point of where the hell you really meant to go with it. Now, I'm not jumping into religion, that being, because, hell, I admit, I like meat. We get this. That being said, and yes, with the Meatless Mondays, I agree to them, because, as we know, you have to do good things for your health every once in a while, so that's my concession. That being said, my take on this is, dude, you took it too far. I'm not trying to guess where I'm going to heaven with, but I know that I'm going to have a sandwich in my hand. But I also believe that, you know, if I wasn't eating the fries that went with them, or by substitution, you know, if there was some some carrot sticks with that, I still believe I'm going to heaven. I like to believe I'm in good shape. You just took it a wee bit off the scale.
Okay, and to be fair, we know that not all listeners are people of faith, and not all listeners believe in heaven. So No matter what your idea of the afterlife may be, or even if you don't think there's an afterlife at all and you just go back into the ground, first of all, do you. There's no judgment on my part, and I think that that is perfectly fine no matter what. It's just that this is me saying that perhaps you may not want to listen to Mr. Wiles and just enjoy your Impossible Burger and live your life. But when I saw that, I texted Big Daddy. I was just like, this is taking it to the extreme. And no, you can't use what he said to get out of Meatless Mondays, so don't even try.
Yeah, don't think I'm going to try, but okay, I'm going to keep that in my back pocket for when I'm desperate.
How desperate do you have to be to think that an occasional veggie burger is going to bring on the apocalypse?
Okay, yeah, for those who've had fake bacon, you're going to bring on the apocalypse.
Okay.
I partake in Meatless Mondays, but, if I'm desperate enough on, Carnivore Tuesdays, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, but no, I haven't reached that point yet.
Well, good. Well, speaking of the cookout, another thing that will not be welcome in the cookout apparently is writer and media personality Ana Maria Cox. And if you guys know her, actually, I followed her work. She's actually really brilliant. She's a political writer. She got her start famously enough being in charge of the blog that you guys may have heard about called Wonkat. And so now she's actually, I forget which network, but she's on television sometimes doing political commentary.
Okay, why is she not invited to the cookout?
Well, recently, Ana Maria actually tweeted out something that sort of became viral for reasons that I don't think she counted on. So basically what happened was that she tweeted recently about an encounter she had in a public bathroom where a woman shamed her for not washing her hands after using the bathroom. So what she said was, I was running late to the studio, but had to stop in the business restroom to use the loo. And then she said in huge capital letters, and because of the lateness, I went straight from the stall to the door. A woman walking out at the same time turns around as we leave and said, you're not going to wash your hands. She goes on to say, I'm a grown-ass woman with 46 years of experience on this earth, and this has not happened to me once. She continued, I wish I had the presence of mind to tell her that I'd love to chat, but I'm due in surgery. But instead I just gawked at her and said, I'll wash them later. Because, again in capital letters, I usually do, she added, with the emphasis on usually. Cox went on to state, according to the Daily Doc, that she had never encountered this woman in her life, and she wondered why she thought it would be a good idea to confront her about not washing her hands. She made a big deal about it, too. She said, I'm pretty sure she can't be from Minnesota, because I don't know what she's implying there. People in Minnesota don't wash their hands? I don't get it.
Okay.
But basically, she put this out, and it was clear from the way that the tweet was written that she intended this for a way to kind of shame the lady into being all up in her business. But instead, the response she got was just like, child, what's wrong with you? Touching the doors and all that stuff, and shaking hands in the studio, and not washing your hands! And so, the whole idea was, and she goes on, she even later tweeted, oh, well, I had hand sanitizer, which she didn't mention before in the previous tweets. But two, girl, it only takes like 30 seconds to wash your hands. And so, when I read the tweet, I was just like lost and thinking, she'll leave the bathroom, she's going her way to the studio, she'll probably shake some hands at the production crew and all of those people, not washing her hands once. And two things, I texted Big Daddy, I was like, okay, one, we gotta talk about this on the podcast, because ew. But then secondly, oh girl is not allowed at the cookout. Can you imagine? We're having a potluck dinner. Okay. What are you bringing, Mr. Cameraman? Oh, I'm bringing chips. What about you, Mr. Studio Producer? I'm bringing, let's say, ribs or burgers. Ana Maria, what are you bringing? Oh, no, Ana Maria, you're fine. Just bring hand sanitizer. Lots and lots of hand sanitizer. But she eventually deleted it. And it was kind of funny because it was clear that her intention was to shame the woman who, spoke up and said, hey, maybe you should, handle your business before you leave this bathroom. But it was clear that I don't think that she got the larger issue of, maybe cleanliness is sort of an important thing.
No. You want to hear something kind of funny?
What's that?
The thing was, at first, when this was brought to my attention, I was very reticent about, you come across people every day, and I mean like hundreds and hundreds of people, whether you really, like you come face to face with them, or like they just came before you, and you just like came across, just passed them in the bathroom, or you came after them, before them, in certain areas, the common touch. At first, I was like on board with what you were saying, and for the most part, still in that group that believes that, yeah, just for the hell of it, wash your hands, try to get scrub underneath your fingernails and whatever as much as you can. Even if that includes, just doing a quick scrub and then the hand sanitizer, I'm with you. Because, you just never know what the next person may bring to the party, and it could be sickening. The thing is, right now, I have not completely changed my mind on that, but I think in this case with Miss Cox, I'm not actually against it, in part because here's the thing. For those who have deadlines, let's be honest, or you're trying to get from train to stairwell or bus, or you, like we said, you're in a studio or you're in a space and you have a deadline or you have somewhere to be immediately and you don't have time to do things. Sometimes people do things that you may not be comfortable with, or maybe you are a little comfortable with because you just figured, damn it, I just had to do it. But I would make that a habit. My thing is, sometimes we all do things. We scratch our rear ends before I have to do whatever. We do things we're maybe not proud of, but I understand. Sometimes those are just things that occur.
Why would you put it out there publicly to shame the other person now?
Stay out of my business.
I mean,
seriously, would I make that a tweet debate? No.
I mean, have we all done things that we, like, say for instance, we're running late or something, or like, okay, there is a train station nearby where we live that is notorious for not having soap in their bathrooms. No matter what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I always try to avoid going to the bathroom at this one particular train station, but sometimes you just can't help it.
Mm-hmm.
But then in my knapsack of stuff that I bring with me when I commute, I usually have like hand sanitizer or soap for that reason. It's different than just like willfully like not doing it. But I just think in terms of other people, I mean, I get what you're saying, but just like how easy it is to get other people sick. Like, remember when I first started my new job and I got horribly sick when I first started commuting, because I hadn't been on public transportation in forever and I forgot to bring the hand sanitizer with me. And I don't know, I must have touched something that was like just a few, antibodies shy of the bubonic plague. Because I was like horribly sick to the point where I was like, damn, I'm going to have to quit my job because I can't make it into work. So when you think about that, you have to be mindful, even though, yes, there is a deadline, but then there is a responsibility I think we all hold just to keep each other, healthy. It's like people who refuse to vaccinate their kids, not realizing that there are other people that you come in contact with who don't have strong immunity system, and you're exposing them to getting sick.
I'm one of them. Yes.
So, I mean, on one hand, am I saying that, she's like a totally gross human being? No. In fact, if I ever met Ana Maria Cox, I will probably be in awe because, again, I've liked her work and I've read her blog and stuff like that. Maybe part of the reason why I'm in my feelings is because, again, the way that she just put it out there to the point where she was clearly trying to shame the woman who may have just been asking, like, dude, maybe you should wash your hands. And I have been in situations before where I've seen people like leave the bathroom and head out, and it's kind of like a horrifying thing. And those are the same spaces that I'm sure to use a paper towel to open up the door because you just don't know, even if you wash your hands, whose hands touch the door, apparently. But so, I mean, I guess I get it. And do I still think that do I think she's a horrible human being? No.
Would you shake her hand? If you did come across her.
Well, would you?
Yeah, but I have hand sanitizer. I don't have that problem. No. I do admit, yeah. It would be a little hard. But yes, I'm cool with it. But yeah, I get your point. I get, there are a lot of people I come across who will leave the room with a quickness after doing things in the restroom, but they don't wash their hands. And yeah, does it bug me a little bit? Yeah. Do I be careful when leaving the room? Yes. That being said, sometimes you just gotta do things that you don't think about. I'm not running to Twitter with it, or I'm not Snapchatting that crap up.
Well, you know what?
That will also require me to be on Snapchat, but don't go look for me because you ain't gonna find me.
Well, that said, I too carry hand sanitizer, especially after catching the mother of all viruses.
You caught the rhino, the buffalo, the elephant, the Watusi.
I caught the whole zoo that time. Yeah, it was to the point where I was like, you came to me, and I still went to work, which is probably just as bad as not washing your hands now that I think about it, but I had no sick days. And I was just getting started, and my boss was out, and I had a grant due, and I literally just started, and I was just like, well, crap, I guess I'll have to go in. So now when I think about it, I'm probably just as bad as her in a way. The Daily Dot pointed out something I think is interesting. The perplexing thing about the whole ordeal is it probably took her 3 times as long to type the tweet because it was a long tweet, as opposed she could have just washed her hands and be done with it.
Well, technically true. We don't know when she typed this.
So, and if you think about all of the things you touch, like the door, the phone, your phone, other people.
You touch the monitors in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, the desk.
So.
The associate producer.
Oh.
Managing editor.
Okay, stop.
The guy who cleaned the toilets right after that. My brother Freddie. So
maybe the moral of the story, if you're going to do that, and no one can stop you, because the whole thing was she was just like, I'm a grown woman, I choose not to do this. Okay, fine. Just maybe well, you know what? I was going to say maybe keep it to yourself, but maybe she did us all a service and just let us know that sometimes she doesn't wash her hands. So again, maybe when I meet her, I'll do a fist bump.
I'm gonna do a fist bump. I'm just gonna do air, hallelujahs, air hugs, or whatever.
We'll be like Regine on Living Single and just do air smooches.
Yes, I'm down with it.
Well, the last thing we wanted to talk about was actually something that you brought my attention to, which I think is hysterical.
What was that?
It was the Mr. Peanut shoes.
Oh, I thought we were talking about meat Twinkies again. Yes, the Mr. Peanut shoes.
Well, no, I told you about the meat Twinkie because it was actually a meme, people. So, just but just so you know, Mr. Peanut, who is the brand sponsor, I mean the brand spokesperson for wow, as long as that's been around
Yeah, Mr. Peanut has been the representative for a
of
long
Planters
time.
Peanut. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Planters had announced from June 18th through June 21st, sneakerheads can actually pre-order their own pair of the Crunch Force, which is their own special blue, yellow, black, and orange Mr. Peanut inspired pair of sneakers. So it's made with quote unquote premium leather. They're adorned with the mascot's monocle, smiling face, color scheme, and the word planters written across the back. Now,
Mm-hmm.
they were actually the creators of sneaker designer and artist Jeff Cole and Self Fowler, and they are actually produced by some company called Richie Range. And it's hilarious. You can actually Google it. Um, the shoe is actually called the Crunch Force One. Okay. And it's a limited edition shoe.
Gets a crunching in my ears. Crunch ones.
So guess how
Mm-hmm.
much if you wanted to rock your own pair of Crunch Force One.
Okay,
Do you
now
remember how much it cost to buy a pair?
No, I'm sure it was worth a pretty penny, but how much was it?
It was $170, my man.
$170.
Yep.
I could go, like George Washington Carver, I could go build me some sneakers for that.
You first of all, that's a lot of money to spend on some buddies.
Well, I don't necessarily call them buddies, but at the same time, yeah, that's a lot of money. I'm like, I can go get me a whole another pair of LeBrons or something for that.
I
Not
don't
that
know
I own
though.
some LeBrons.
Well, I mean, for $170, that's like a cost of like a good Air Force Ones or like the limited edition. Like I think the Yeezys are like around that same price that Kanye West shoe, which which are
Yeah.
hella ugly in my opinion.
Hey,
But still.
I ain't having the yay-yays or whatever you want to call them coming after me.
Yeah, what do they call his fans now? Are they Yeezys or?
Idiots.
Anyway, 170. First of all, let's take a step back. Should
Yes.
we explain what buddies are? Because I don't even know if people still use that term.
Okay, we've been throwing this around for a little while. Buddies.
Buddies. When we were kids, buddies were the names that they gave like non-name brand shoes that people were wearing, basically knockoffs. So the best way I can explain it is when I was a kid, I was a tomboy. So for me, even though my mother wanted me to wear dresses and flats and all that stuff, usually my uniform of choice was like a t-shirt, a pair of jeans, and then Converse. And I used to collect those Converse, the canvas kind that you can get all sorts of really cool colors because, they were Converse and you can wear them anywhere and throw them in the washing machine because I was always climbing trees and stuff. Now, the knockoff of the Converse, and I say this lovingly because even though Converse were first, were the Keds, which came out with their own canvas
Okay.
version of it.
Mhm.
And then the way it was explained to me is the knockoff of the Converse. Usually they look like them and they sell them in the grocery store. You can get them at Payless, where they look like the canvas shoes, but they didn't have like the name badge. So instead of like Converse, they were Onverse shoes.
Yeah, they
The
kinda lost
ones where
something.
you said they came with the little tie that ties them together.
Yeah, it had like the little plastic tie that was on the side. Like, yeah, sometimes they didn't even like have shoestrings.
Those were buddies. So I say this jokingly. Obviously, with $170, these are limited edition. They're designed by, apparently artists. I don't know anything about them. So I guess technically they're not buddies, but, they're not the Nike's name brand stuff that you would expect to pay that price for.
No, I got the name Mr. Plan behind it, so Mr. Plan want to come up on it. Yeah, it's
Mr.
great.
Peanut.
I love the fact that I remember back to my dad. He would basically call any shoe that was not like your traditional leather lace up sneaker. He would call those buddies. I mean, like even back to like boat shoes or like those like off brand dock shoes. Like oh yeah, them some little funny looking buddy shoes. I'm like, Dad, you told me to get some shoes. I got some shoes. You would think those are weird, but yeah, I remember those. I wore very interesting shoes when I was younger, but They were really into yeah. Buddies were those pop brands that literally could just blow up at any point. They were like the straight up milk and cookie shoes.
Now, apparently, doing limited edition shoes is kind of like a thing.
Okay.
Because after you told me about that, I had looked, and I don't know if you know, but Dunkin' Donut had their own limited edition sneaker. Yes. Yes, they did.
Were they called jellies?
That would have been a really great price.
Yeah. I could have got that hookup. Got me some jellies.
But
And not them ugly jelly like, girl shoes or whatever.
But they released them last year, and it was a sneaker that they did for the Boston Marathon. It was made by a name brand company, Saucony. And
Oh yeah.
they did a $2,000. I'm sorry, 2,000.
$2,000.
No, 2,000 pair run.
Okay.
And so they did it in honor of the Boston Marathon. So get this, in less than a day they sold out, and those shoes were $110.
Okay. We'll have okay. Upper echelon where I'm hidden.
So the Dunkin' Donuts, in case you're wondering what those look like, they were performance shoes. The soles were Dunkin' orange and pink. The sides of the sneakers were flecked with sprinkles.
Okay.
And on each heel, the pink cheerful donut rises like the sun. And it actually has printed in pink lettering, America runs on Dunkin'. Okay, those sound actually kind of cute.
They do sound kind of cute.
I don't know if I would pay $110 for them, but they sound kind of low-key adorable.
Okay. I'm thinking though, I know this is like off the side, but with I know like as you said, the brand placement on their own customized sneaker pimping, like sneakers. I'm thinking if Chicago, like let's say for the Chicago Marathon, had a sneaker representation. I'm trying to think what would be Chicago enough.
Garrett's popcorn.
Like Garrett's popcorn, they would have like popcorn sneakers, or women like some really like high deep dish sneakers, like sponsored by Geno's East or Giordano's or something.
No, I'm telling you, they're going to be Garrett's popcorn, and they're going to be called the Air Cheddars.
The Air Cheddars.
Because Garrett's, if you guys have never been to Garrett's popcorn, first of all, you need to come to Chicago and get your life. Seriously. Garrett's popcorn is this popcorn place. They have cult status. Everyone knows about it. Halle Berry famously loves Garrett's popcorn so much that whenever she comes to Chicago, usually, who is the guy who usually hooks her up with Garrett's popcorn? He works for WGN. Is it Skilling?
I don't think it's Skilling. I want to say it was like Dean somebody, but
yeah, it was Dean, the guy who does the WGN, the Channel 9,
movie reviews
and stuff. I'm sure Hallie, when she comes to town, she makes her way there because he usually hooks her up with the Garrett's popcorn. Now, if you go to Garrett's, they're known for their cheese popcorn, which is the world's best cheese popcorn. I don't care what you think. I don't care what other popcorn you've had. Come fight me if you disagree with me.
She will fight you.
Yes. Their cheese popcorn is the business. And of course, the only thing better is the Chicago mix, which is, if you guys don't know anything about it, again, come to the city, get your life. That's when you take a piece of cheese popcorn, you mix it with the caramel kernel of their caramel popcorn, and you eat it together. Cheese and caramel. It is just... There are no words. It's just really good.
Yeah, that's great. Like I'm gonna say, I'm the anti-cheese person, so I actually I get the same caramel corn, but I get their fresh butter. But anyway, yeah, Air Cheddars.
The Air Cheddars. I think that would be good. The Air Cheesies.
The Air Cheesies.
Well, no, I think that actually, if you call them the Cheesies, I think it's too close to Yeezy, and he may sue them.
Yeah.
But I do. I think
that's right, fam.
But I think they should come up with their own shoe and call them the Cheesies, the Air Cheesies.
Wait a minute, I was like thinking like the Wiener Circle could have, I don't know, some Air Wieners or something.
Oh. But the deep dish pizza? Yeah, I could see that.
Like high heel sneakers.
Yeah. I like have like each layer like like the crust be like the sole, and then you could see like different layers in the shoe. Yeah, I
That's
can
right,
totally
yeah.
see that.
See, I'm on the come up, see? Hook me up, y'all.
Would you pay $170 for them
No, I'm trying to get sponsorship so I get them bastards for, I'm trying to get them bad boys for free.
though?
Hey, sneaker pimping, baby. I bring mine. No, I'm thinking of like, the perfect Chicago hookup. Give me some Air Dickas, some pork chop artery chasing, uh, yeah. Maybe I get some Gibsons, big steakhouse, chop shop, whatever. I can get the hookups, but yeah, I'm thinking of Chicago inspired sneakers for the marathon.
That would be kind of dope.
Yeah. Hook me up.
So if you're listening, Garrett's Popcorn.
Hook me up.
So anyway, that wraps up our pop culture segment of the week. So we're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, we will then wrap things up with the best thing we ate this week.
Okay.
You're listening to the Gourmet Goober, and we'll be right back. Hey, I'm JJ Outlaw, better known as the Gourmet Goober. Let me ask you something. Do you love conversations about hit snacks? Deep philosophical discussions on why, I don't know, corn dogs should be called meat Twinkies? Or why Love and Hip Hop Atlanta has the right level of ratchet? Well, if you've answered yes to any of these questions, you might be a goober, which is why you should be a part of our bi-weekly podcast where we tackle life's most important foodie and pop culture questions like why community fries should be a thing. And if you love the Gourmet Goober podcast, how about supporting us? You can give us a 5-star review on Stitcher and iTunes. You can drop us a line at thegourmetgoober@gmail.com. You can advertise with us, or you can visit anchor.fm/gourmetgoober, click the support this podcast button, and put just $5 on it to help support independent media. So, if you're a goober like me, no worries. Just join us here at the Gourmet Goober, be a part of our bi-weekly podcast, and support us now at anchor.fm/gourmetgoober. Thanks for listening. Back to the show. Welcome back. This is JJ Outlaw, and you're listening to the Gourmet Goober. And we are wrapping up our podcast as we do every episode of the Gourmet Goober and sharing what's the best thing we ate this week. So, Big Daddy, as always, I always like to start with you first. What did you have?
Man, why do I always have to start first?
Would you rather I start first? Because I know what I had, and it was really, really good.
I can start first. I just, I always had to start first.
You've never noticed in all these episodes you've been the one that always started first?
Yeah, because I always bring the hot fire.
Wow.
Yeah, I bring the goodies to the yard, but yeah.
I guess the stuff I bring is like weak toes, huh?
Hey, no, but what did I have that was great this week? Okay, this is from my friend Gina. She brought to me and some friends and some coworkers, I would say. Friends, not so much. A concoction that she made in a bowl. I want to call it a pie or a cake, but I remember, and sorry, as a side note, my sister used to make something in a bowl that was kind of a cake-ish thing called a Death by Chocolate.
Oh, is that the trifle that she used to make?
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
She used to make something like that, and Gina came across a recipe on the Food Network, and she kind of took it and made it her own. I believe it's called an Oreo bomb, and like the bomb was with an E or whatever. But she introduced it to some of the early crew. I put my hands on it, and then I caught my life because this thing had like heavy cream, a little cream cheese, some vanilla extract taste, but you could like eat that thing with ice cream, but Jesus, it had had some crumbles of Oreo cookies, but also full on Oreo cookies chopped up, like blended and everything. And oh my God, this thing was so decadent. I almost cried. If you can, get up on the Food Network, look up Oreo Bomb, and love that thing. Get in it. Become friends with it. Because
Wow.
your doctor will become friends with you after you eat it.
Well, two things. One, that sounds amazing. And two, please don't eat a lot of it because I like having you around.
Yeah, I'm fine. Gina might become my new wife after this.
Hey!
I'm just kidding. She's old and married.
Well, the best thing I had this week, I can enthusiastically say it's probably one of the best things I've eaten in a long time, to be in fact. So let me just set the scene. So I think I've shared before that I have a job right now. I mainly work with nonprofits, and the latest nonprofit that I work with is centered in a little neighborhood that's primarily a Puerto Rican neighborhood called Humboldt Park, which is amazing. It's beautiful, and it's named after a park of the same name, and it's right across the street from where I work. But Humboldt Park is a hop, skip, and a jump away from another neighborhood. And if you know anything about Chicago, Chicago's a city that's made up of multiple neighborhoods. It's kind of like New York has the boroughs, but we have more neighborhoods. It's like 77 established ones. And each neighborhood, like literally, you can go down the street from like Humboldt Park to Wicker Park, which is the nearest one closest to us from where I work. And it's like literally, it's a new vibe. Same street, new vibe because it starts a new neighborhood, okay? So, I sometimes, because I'm super busy and I'm writing grants and I'm doing multiple things at once, so sometimes it's easier for me to order food than actually to go out because it's just hard for me to leave my desk. And Friday was one of those times. So I found myself ordering from this restaurant that's in Wicker Park, which is the next neighborhood over from where I work in Humboldt Park. It's this little cafe. Apparently, it's been around for years. It's called Cafe Milk and Honey. Okay. They're open 7 days a week. They're mainly known for like their breakfasts, but they also serve lunch, and they have like homemade granola and all that good stuff. But the one thing that I had on Friday, because even though I very rarely, if ever, leave my desk at my day job because I'm so busy, like I said before, I think early in the podcast, one of the things that I've been focusing on more is doing self-care and realizing that sometimes I can't be on the computer 24/7. It's good for me to go outside and get sunshine and renew myself and just have time to myself to think. And so Friday I decided, you know what? I'm going to actually do that. So I ordered lunch from this place. And then I went outside across the street from where I work into Humboldt Park, and I sat by the batting cages, and I just was there with the quiet and enjoyed the sun and ate, and it was glorious. But the thing I ate was they have this crab cake sandwich that they make. And it's not just crab cake, it's crab cake, and they have like a chipotle mayo that they make from scratch. And so they have this chipotle aioli, and it has shredded lettuce on a baguette. Very simple. Very simple. It's not like a lot of fancy stuff. It's just literally crab cake, the spicy mayo, the shredded lettuce. What they describe is what you get, on the French bread. But I've got to tell you, the crab cakes, first of all, they were amazing. They were substantial crab cakes. They weren't tiny. You could tell they used real crab in it. The breading and everything, it wasn't too heavy. It was just a really perfect balance of crab cake. The mayo wasn't overpowering, but it still gave a good spicy kick.
Okay.
The baguette was just perfect. So, sometimes when they make a sandwich ahead of time, when you order even a baguette, which is something that has kind of a sturdier, outside crust, sometimes it gets a little soggy or a little stale. No, it's perfect. And it was just such a simple sandwich, but I don't know if it was the sandwich or the combination of the sandwich and where it was, but it just gave me so much joy. And literally, it was one of the first things I had in a long time that I was like legit sad that it was done.
Hmm.
So I can honestly say, if you ever or in the Wicker Park neighborhood, this little place is on Division. It's 1920 West Division. I'll put the addresses I've normally done whenever we talk about places in our show notes.
Okay.
But I do recommend it. It's called Cafe Milk and Honey, and they are amazing. So cannot endorse their crab cake sandwich enough. If I had more than 2 thumbs to give it, I would give it that. But yes, that's definitely the best thing I ate this week, and it was just a perfect way to end the week. So I'm very glad that I had a chance to experience that. So on that note, we are going to wrap up this episode of the Gourmet Goober. Again, you can always find me at JJ Outlaw on Twitter. As a reminder, you can find us on at Gourmet Goober on Instagram. Where can they find you on the social medias, as the kids like to call it?
You can find me on Twitter again at TOutlaw, TOUTLAW. And you can find me on Instagram at TOutlaw Josie Wells. That's the Instagram. You can also find me on Facebook, if you want to. But then, of course, it's Facebook.
Well, if you still haven't used Facebook, just so you know, we still have our Facebook page that, although I'll be honest, I'm far more active on Twitter and Instagram than I am on Facebook. But our Facebook, just in case you're looking for us, is the Gourmet Goober blog, because as a reminder, the Gourmet Goober was a blog before we became a podcast. Speaking of that blog, you can always go and head up and see old recipes and stuff I've done and check out some press clips and things that we've done over the years. As the blog is celebrating its 6th anniversary, you can go to thegourmetgoober.com. And if you want to drop us a line, you can do that. Our email address is thegourmetgoober@gmail.com. So we are really glad to be back. We thank everyone for listening. Check us out in all the ways that we told us. Give us a tweet. And until next time, happy eating.
Happy eating. Meat Twinkies with bacon. Yeah. And